Today we will talk about the fourth type of controller, which is the extension. Okay, so we have talked about standard list, custom controller. There is one more controller which is called an extension. Okay, now this extension controller is basically it's also defined as a class, the way we define a custom controller. But the good thing about an extension controller is that it can be called in as an extension to a page. Okay, so it can be called as an extension to a page which already has a controller. Right, so you've created a page and you have used a standard controller there, and you just want to use some of the custom logics as well. Then you can call an extension class also. Got it? So the way the class is created is exactly the way custom controller is created. There is no such difference in creating it, but this this can be called as an extension. Okay, so how does this how does it work? Let's see. Okay, so let's say if I have created a page. This is a page I have created. Okay, and I want to use a standard controller here. Which means I'll be able to use the standard logics here, and I will be able to call the standard fields and everything here, and I'll be able to use it as a standard controller page. Okay, so that part is fine. Now in addition to whatever standard controller logics I use in this page, in addition to that, if I want some of the custom logics also to appear here, then what will I do? Then you need to define an extension, because you're already using a controller which is a standard controller. Okay, extension is also an attribute. Okay, and this extension needs to be the class, okay, where you have defined the code. So go to develop Apex classes. Let me create an extension. Public class E1 string hello, how are you, public string get hello, Okay, this is the class. Take this class and try to call it as an extension here. Instead of defining it as a controller, only thing that we are doing is we are defining it as an extension. Okay. In this process, all that you have to do is you just have to define one constructor also. So all that you have to keep in mind is that you have to write one extra line of code. I'll try to explain what's a constructor, but even if you don't understand, don't worry. You just have to write the constructor. Should be okay. Right. Now, though this is a standard controller, still I can call the method from that class here. Alright. So the only difference between the class that you create for custom controller and this controller extension is this constructor. Okay. What's a constructor? Constructor is basically another method. For your understanding, it's just one more method, but this method is more of a method which calls all the entire class. Okay, so that's what a constructor is. So it kind of calls the entire class. All right, so this constructor should always have the name of the class itself, and it's defined like this. And this is a syntax for defining a constructor for standard controller. All right, so if you just type this line, just that, make sure that you have changed the class name here. That should be okay. Fine, and you will be able to use this as an extension. Now I have the option of using standard logics here.
This is the syntax apex pages dot standard controller. This is the syntax for the constructor.
Right.
Jit, and this extension comes along with standard controllers only, is it?
Which one?
No, the extensions, it comes along with the, we can use it along with the standard controllers only, is it?
Standard controllers, we can use it. You can also use it with a custom controller. There are only two types of controller, right? Standard and custom. So you can use it with custom also.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Now, see, if this is what I have done. Okay. Now this is the code. Sorry, that's the ID. Taking the ID. Achha, there is an opportunity. This is the thing. See this? So this account dot name is coming from my standard controller. Hello is coming from my custom controller, right? Sorry, from the extension controller, not the custom controller. So only hello is defined there. There is nothing called account here, right? But still I'm able to call account because I'm using the standard account controller. So that is the advantage of using an extension, that you will be able to use the standard as well as the custom things. Okay. If you only use a custom controller, the difference between an extension and a custom controller will be, if you use only a custom controller, then the problem is that you have to define everything on your own. S object, this, that, right? But if you feel that your most of your page is being done using the standard controller, then you can just define remaining part of the logic which you are not able to get from the standard controller. That part you can write using extension. Make sense?
Jit, I have a question, Jit. In the extension class, so we have defined a constructor. And in the constructor, we are giving a parameter, apex pages dot standard controller. Why we are giving that? And is it something like defining a class standard controller, or what are those parameters?
See, what happens here is this is again, Apex Pages is already a class which Salesforce has defined, okay, and this is so basically this is an object, okay, so we are actually defining a parameter with that particular object, okay. So Apex Pages is already a class which is defined and there's an object there. So we are defining a parameter for that. All right. So this is something which you have to define so that Salesforce can understand that this class will be acting as an extension to a page with standard controller. Got it? So now if you try to call the same thing on a page which is using a custom controller, then you have to change it. C5. This time I'm using a custom controller. Right? Then your parameter has to be different, right? So that's what. Then you should be defining it this way. C5 controller. Alright. So this acts that constructor acts as an extension to the Apex page standard controller or the custom controller. Got that thing? So while I am defining the extension, basically the extension tries to understand where do I pick, if I have to simplify it further, or if I just have to put it in simple words. When you define an extension, basically what we are trying to do, we are trying to uh, you know put our custom logics here, right? So when I give my custom logics here and I tell you that you are the secondary logic, please go ahead, go into the page and give us the secondary logic. It will ask us a question that where is the primary logic? Where should I pick the primary logic from? Right? So if I am using a standard controller, then I'd say that okay, pick your primary logic from apex page.standard controller. So whatever is the standard controller of that apex page. What is the standard controller of that apex page? Account. So it goes to account and picks the logic from there. Correct? But if it is not the case, if that's a custom controller, then what it should do? C5, let's say. Then it should pick the logic from C5. Then it knows, okay, fine, I have to go to this class. Got that? So then it goes and works with that particular logic. Make sense?
Jeet, I didn't get it. The last.
Okay. Don't worry about that part. Just if you have understood this, how this needs to be written, it's okay. More than enough. You don't have to get into why a constructor is being written and how it is being written and what actually it's going to fetch. There will be only two scenarios. One, when you're using a extension with a standard controller, try to write it this way. If it's a custom controller, write the name of the controller instead of this apex page.standard controller, name of the class. If you're using it with a custom controller, that much is clear, that we understand.
Okay, if you're writing with the
With
custom
a
one,
custom
then we have
controller
to
and name of the class. That's it.
name of the class.
If it's a standard controller, just say apex pages.standard controller. It will automatically pick whichever standard controller you're using.
Okay.
Fine. So basically, that's what we need to supply here. That what is the primary class, correct? Because this is acting as the secondary class, right? So in addition to that, which other class it should pick the code from? So that's it. We are just defining the location for that, right? So if you understand this much, I think it should be fine. We'll be able to connect to the custom controller as well as standard controller.
Okay.
Fine. Okay. Okay with everyone else? Any question or any doubt? Now, whatever code you have written for a custom controller, you can just use it as an extension, provided you define this constructor. Okay, you can. So the only difference in the code is going to be that line of constructor. All right? Define the constructor.
Can you show this with the example? We previously created few classes, so can you show this with the previous example which we have already created, the class?
Anything.
Class.
The let's go to a standard controller page that we did initially. Okay, V5. Okay, let's say this. This is my standard controller page. This is one thing that we did initially. Now, what I want to do is, let's say I want to have one more tab and I want to display some custom data there. Okay. Instead of this related data, I want to display some data. Let's say campaigns. I want to display in one more tab. But I cannot, campaign is not a related list to account. Here, everything is a related list, right? In this example, if you see, everything is a related list, right? Contact is a related list, opportunity. But campaign is not a related list to account. Please let me know if you're not understanding here before I get into the next step. We'll be doing this example. Do you understand the logic of this page? The logic of this page is clear to everyone, so that I can show the example. Okay. So this page is basically a standard controller page. If you see it here, it's a standard controller page, and we have tried to display the related lists here. Correct? Now I want to display some custom data also here. With my own logic, which is not related to the account, but I just want to display. All right. So for that, I'll have to write the class. So let's say I want to display a list of campaigns in one more tab, which will be campaigns, which will be called campaigns. So for that, let me just go ahead and define an extension. So first of all, create the class. You can write the constructor later on. First of all, define the class the same way as you do. Name the class whatever you want. See what variables and the get methods you need to define. So define the class exactly the way you define a custom controller. So I want to display list of campaigns. Let's say select name, start date, end date, budget from campaign. That's it. Can someone check the field names and tell me? Budget is not correct. What's the correct field name? On campaign, there is a field called budget or something. Can you just go ahead and check what is the correct field name for that?
It's just a name.
Budget. I'm looking for budget. Is there a field called budget or something? Budgeted cost.
Budgeted cost, yeah.
What's the name of the field? This is the label, right? It has a space.
Yeah, it's the same, budgeted cost. Field name is also budgeted cost.
With space, without space?
Without space, with three caps.
Yeah, that caps is not a matter because this is case insensitive. Alright. So list of campaigns I want to display there. Okay, and I need one get method for that. Public list of campaign get camps. Return camps. Done. So my get method and everything is ready. Now what I need to do is I just need to go to my Visualforce page, and here first of all I need to call that as an extension here, extension E2. Constructor needs to be defined. Okay, let me just go ahead and define the constructor. Constructor also has to be public.
So for constructor we have to define it in the first line, or we can define anywhere?
Here, right after defining the class.
Okay.
Okay, so that's done. Now this gets recognized here. Now there's no problem. Now it's all
Is it
the
extension or extension with?
extensions.
Okay, okay.
Now it's all the same. Apex tab, set the tab, I can create Apex page block table because it's list of campaigns. Value will be, what will be the values here? Page block table value will be what? Look into the class and tell me.
The get method. The get E2.
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 No, camps. Camps. The method we should call
Let me again tell you, nothing in the code has changed, only one line of constructor. So don't get confused too much about, this is an extension, something new is happening, something different, nothing is changed. So just relax and try to, remember the way you used to write code in custom controller. Okay. Don't worry, nothing has changed. Get method is get method. Forget about it. Okay. Just mark it, don't read there. Rest everything is fine, right? So
Yeah.
why are we getting confused on that? No E2, nothing. How do we call a get method? The same way we are going to call the get method. It's a list. That's the reason why I'm using a page block table. Right?
Okay.
The rest everything is same. As cool as always. Now C dot name.
C dot name.
Name type. No, sorry. Start date, end date, and budgeted cost.
Budget cost.
So you used to writing type after the name because of the account thing. Alright. See. So now I have defined this method here. This thing came from my customer controller or from the class, this table, and rest of the things have come from the standard controller. So combination kind of a page. This tab label needs to be given. I will call them campaigns, and the label width needs to be given 200. Okay. If you click on campaigns, why don't we see data on this page? Why don't I see data on this page?
We need to provide ID.
ID.
ID we have not supplied. But if I click on campaigns, will I get the data in campaigns tab? See, detail tab, no data. Contact,
Yeah,
no data.
it should get.
Yeah, we should get.
We should get because
In campaigns we have data because that's coming from the custom controller, right? That does not require any ID, right? Other things are dependent on the ID because those are coming from the standard controller. Okay, standard controller ID was not supplied. So whatever part comes from the custom controller or from the class, that does not depend on the ID anyhow. So that automatically loads. See, now data has come for the rest of the record also, and campaigns was anyhow, it was there. It was being displayed. Clear? So you can combine both the things. Depending on your requirement, you will use extension or a custom controller, right? So wherever you feel that you're not able to manage with a standard controller, then you'll have to take a call on whether I go ahead with a custom controller or do I use a extension. All right, that's it. Now, the next concept that we're going to talk is how to use the Visualforce pages. We have learned how to create Visualforce pages, right? We have learned how to create different types of Visualforce pages: standard list, custom, extension. How do we use them, right? Or how do we call those Visualforce pages? How will my users access the Visualforce pages? So one option is override standard pages. Okay. So Salesforce has by default given us a lot of standard pages. For everything there is a standard page. You have an option of overriding the standard salesforce.com page with your Visualforce page. You can use your Visualforce page to override the standard salesforce.com page. Okay. Let's say when I go to accounts and I click on an account, this is how my account page looks. This is the standard Salesforce page. This is standard page, right? Is it the standard page?
Yeah, it's a standard page.
Standard Salesforce.com page, and every object has this kind of a page, right? Okay. Now I can override this page with using another Visualforce page. Okay. So for an example, this is V5. Okay. I can use V5 to override the standard page, so that if anytime the user goes to accounts and clicks on an account, that will open in the V5 template, not in this template. So this page looks like this, but I can override this page using my Visualforce page. All right. So in
So
case you're not,
it would okay.
one
So
minute.
it would be applicable for all records under accounts, right, Jim?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So in case you don't like the look and feel of this page, you can create a Visualforce page and override this page. How will we do that? It's very simple. All I have to do is go to setup, customize. I want to change it for account, right? So go to accounts, and then in account you have to click on button, links and actions. Click on buttons, links and actions. Okay. So there are so many pages here related to account. All right. Which page do you want to edit? These are all standard salesforce.com pages. Which one do we want to edit? Which one do we want to change now?
Account tab.
Account tab. This is the account tab page.
The record page layout, detailed record page layout.
Which one out of these?
Is it the view page?
View page. Alright, view page is the detail page for the record. Okay, it's not the tab. So all that you have to do is click on edit. Right now it's standard salesforce.com page. I just have to click on edit and say that instead of this, show me the Visualforce page. So now it's no override. Change it to Visualforce page. Which Visualforce page? V5. Save it.
No.
That's it. Now you go to accounts. Click on Edge communication. See, it opens in that particular format, right? So you don't have to supply the ID. It will automatically take the ID of the record that you have clicked on, and it will open in this drop. So all the suspense about the ID that will we always go and supply the ID? No. You will override the page, and the record you click on, it will automatically take the ID for that record. Then contacts here, opportunities here, cases here. Fine. You want to
Oh,
go
it
back?
automatically picks up. Okay.
It will pick the ID. Yeah, it automatically picks ID, and it shows you. So all that what we have done here is we have just created our Visualforce page, and we have defined that as the template for the page. Now the records will open in that template. All right.
So all the related things are automatically changed.
What related thing
So
was changed?
so contacts also changed. So we just provide. Okay.
That's what the concept of the Visualforce page was, right? It's only showing contacts under this particular account. Balance and textile. So that's how I defined the code, right? It's a related list, so related list will automatically.
Even the later list dynamically changes according okay, according to the parent record, right?
That's what happens, right?
Yeah, true.
So I mean, if you compare this page, only the look and feel has changed. No logic has changed, right? So if you
data
see a
remains.
normal account page, there is a related list called contact, right? 3-4
Yeah.
contacts for that account are displayed there. So that particular list is coming under this. Okay, so it's not a different contact as such. So only the look and feel of the page we have changed. Logic and everything is working same, right? So related list means only the contacts of that particular account. Right? Okay. You want to set it back to the standard Salesforce page. Again, go to this page, click on edit. No override. Save. Comes back to the same page. Now if I click on this, see the old page has come. So that's how it is. Alright, so this is just one way. Another way, so the same way you have button links and actions available for all the links. Okay, for there is a page, standard salesforce.com page for creating a new record. When you click on the new button, there's that page. Okay, list of records, edit page, delete page, right? So you can override pages for everything. All right. Now, second is, but yeah, one thing that you have to keep in mind is if you are trying to override a list or a tab, then you should not be using the standard controller there. Got that point? A standard controller page is works good for one record, right? And it always requires an ID. So standard controller page will only work with view kind of a page, view, edit, these kind of pages. Makes sense, right? Because this needs an ID.
Can we? Okay.
So
can we use the same Visualforce page for the rest of the views, Jeet? I mean, I'm using the sense page layouts.
sorry.
No, I was just wondering, can we use the same Visualforce page what we have used right now for the view layout for any other layouts except for the ones you said now, the tab and the delay. What is it?
Okay. Let's do one thing. See, when we have understood the concept, right? Now there will be a lot of if and buts and can we do this, can we not do this? Let's do and try to figure out certain things. All right. So let's understand the concept and then try and do it. Okay. So any page which going to that page when you have the ID supplied, that can be used with the standard controller. All right. Any page where no ID is supplied, like when I click on account tab, there is no ID supplied, right? That is where you cannot use a standard controller page because that requires an ID. Correct? Now, when you're trying to do this, you can try doing certain things on your own and figure it out, and whether it's working for it or not. I mean, I don't want to define a complete book for rules that okay, this will work for this and this will not. I just want to give you the concept and you try to figure it out, right? And you will have certain extra links, extra buttons. You can create your own tabs. So let's not go one by one and understand whether it will work with account tab or not. Any record which or any page which gets an ID can be used with a standard controller because standard controller requires an ID. Anything which does not get an ID, there we can basically use our standard list or custom controller, that sort of thing. Got it? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Still, if it's very difficult to understand, forget about the new, delete and other pages. Leave it. Don't get into that. Understand the view page only. Okay?
Yeah, I got it, Jit. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the next concept that we're gonna talk is the other way of calling a visual force is a tab, a visual force tab. Now, visual force tab, how do we create that? Another way of accessing visual force pages, create a tab for it. Let's say yesterday, I think we did an example of wizard. Okay. For that wizard, I just want to have a tab here. It should take me to that particular page. So, what do you do there? You just need to go to setup, create tabs. We have an option of creating a visual force tab. The way we create custom object tab, we have an option of creating visual force tabs. This visual force tab can be created. Okay. This account page is what I want to go into. That's where my wizard was starting, right? Tab label will be wizard. Whatever. You put a tab style. And then you just go ahead and save it. Rest everything like a tab. Whether everyone will get to see this tab, does it appear under all the apps or not? Save it. See, now this has come as a tab. This tab will take me to that account page. See, the wizard starts. Correct. So this is the second way of using a visual force page or calling a visual force.
Where is the wizard tab? Where is the wizard tab?
Here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you can call a visual force page from a tab also. Okay. Okay. Third option is call a page using a button or link. There's something which we have already done. Right. This next page, previous page. These examples we have seen, right? So calling a visual force page from another visual force page that we have done, right? Any difficulty understanding this? This simple, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Create one more option is there. You can create a custom button for that, to direct to a visual force page. Okay. This creating custom button is basically creating the custom button on the detail page. Here there is a button that I've created on the visual force page. That's fine, right? But you also have an option of creating one more button on the detail page. Okay. How do you do that? From here you can actually go ahead and add one more button. Like we are looking into these buttons now. The same way you can add one more button. Okay, let's say in the account I want to have one button called tab view, and when I click on that button I should be able to see the details in the tab kind of a thing. Okay, so this is a detail page button. Detail page button means it will take you to the detail page. All right. Do you want to display it in a new window, or you want to display it in the existing window with sidebar? That's okay. Content source is a Visualforce page, and which Visualforce page it should take me to? V5. That's where the account is displayed as tab. Save. Okay, just to read the message here. The new custom button will not be displayed to users until you add it to the page layout. Until you do not add the button to the page layout, it will not be visible to the users. Okay. So if I go to the detail account page, I don't see that button. Basically, I've tried to create one more button here, but I don't see that button here as of now. What I have to do, I have to enable it from the page layout. So go to account, page layouts, buttons, tab view button. See, new button that we have created. Let's come here. I'll have to bring it in the custom button section here. Drop it. Save this. Do you see this? The tab view button has come. If I click on this, it will take me to the tab view. Got it? So another way of accessing Visualforce page sometimes may be using this kind of a button, custom button. Okay, so a custom button can also take you to a Visualforce page, and custom button can be embedded in your page layout. Correct? Okay. There is one more way. Embed a Visualforce page in your page layout, in your standard page layout. Now, your company says that, hey, you know what, we just want to embed the Visualforce page, these tabs, whatever was created, we just want to embed that here somewhere in this page itself. We want to have that also in this page embedded. Okay. So I don't want to create a separate page, or I don't want people to go to that page. I want people to stay on this page and see that as a section kind of a thing. So in that case, you have another option of embedding the Visualforce page in the standard page layout. So all that you have to do is go to the page layout, and in the page layout you have an option of Visualforce pages. Okay, and here you will get to see all the pages which are using this object as the standard controller, and you can call any of the pages in the page layout basically. So let's say V5. I can just drag and put it here. Let me bring a section here. Okay, it's one column section, and in this section Visualforce page. I call this section as Visualforce page, and inside that I insert the here is the Visualforce page. Okay, so I've embedded it inside my standard page layout. I have to do it. Let's look at it here. See, your Visualforce page appears here. Okay, so you can actually do the positioning wherever you want. It was not required here. You could have done at the starting, or you could have done at the end. Sometimes it may be the requirement, right? So that's how it is. So this is the another way of using a Visual Force page. So you can override a standard page using Visual Force page. You can create a Visual Force page tab so that people can actually use that tab and go to the Visual Force page. You can call a Visual Force page from a button or link using the code. You can create a custom button that will redirect you to the Visual Force page. You can embed a Visual Force page into the standard page layout. So these are all the options which are available. Okay, tell me if you have any questions or doubts. No? Good?
Jeet, can you upload this today's video as soon as you can, because